In the litany of GMT watches, dive watches that micro brands are well known for, it is refreshing to see a dress watch that has an accoutrement of unique design elements. Here we have the Venezianico Redentore. On the right, the Enigma, purple dial. On the left, the Muzu Black. These are two watches I've had on my radar for a while, and given the chance to check them out from a few colleagues that are generous enough to lend them to me, I couldn't resist. The Ultra Black uses Muzu Japanese black paint that absorbs 99.4% of light. The main reason why I've brought this watch on today is to do comparison of what this brand has to offer. Italian made, uniquely designed, and I have to say, from all the elements that are thoughtful in this watch, they all speak to me. Let me get on why. My first it's gotta be that unique design element of using an ultra black dial, where the only reference of time is the Venezianico cross logo that you see. A logo that is symbolic for mercantilism. It is inspired by the cross that is sitting atop the clock tower on the north side of the Piazza San Marco. I do like this reference. A second point of affection has to be the case design, the sculpted shape of the lugs, the very curvaceous design of the case. It is actually a watch that has architectural influence from the Venetian architect Andrea Palladio, known as the father of the neoclassical style. It is inspired by the Basilica del Redentore, hence the name. Which leads me to the Enigma purple dial that we have here today. It is a regulator watch. What does that mean? The segmented time telling, with the subdial indicating the hours, and the secondary hand, the main hand that is, indicating the minutes. The watch measures in at 40mm wide, with a lug-to-lug length of 46.7mm, case thickness of only 11.4mm, and I'd have to say that this classic case proportion should appeal to a majority of size of wrists out there. Coupled with 20mm lug width, you can say that this watch has the golden ratio of proportions. Most regulator style watches use 15-minute increments for time telling for the minutes. This is not the case for the Redentore Enigma. It uses 5-minute increments for that larger Delphine minute hand. This means that with the segmented hours told in 24 hours, compared to the minute time telling, you have an exact reference and good differentiation between hours and minutes for quick time telling. The delicate conical bezel is fully polished, so are these shaped curved lugs, the top side. The side flanks of the case are fully satinated brushed, done very well. The strap does not disappoint on this watch. It is Italian calf leather, genuine leather, very supple. It has this gradient finishing where it's dark purple on the outer edges, almost black, and light purple in the center. The pin buckle is substantial with the Venezianico cross, and the keepers are also fairly substantial to meet the rest of the thickness of the strap. Completely soft calf grain leather and well stitched, well made. It has curved spring bars so that it clears the case, and just enough holes here for an assortment of sizing that you may want to have on the wrist. I think this is a handsome strap combined with this watch. I was quite impressed at the tolerances of the strap and how close it sits to the case, almost leading me to believe that at some point the strap could wear down. However, with the inclusion of curved spring bars and 2 different mounting points for your spring bars, you can actually have the strap closer to the watch or further out. I believe Venezianico did this to accommodate a bracelet, which is optional for this watch. Earlier versions of the Redentore did not have multiple mounting points for spring bars. This is unique to the newer line of Redentore watches. Daily legibility is decent. This is in extremely bright, snowy winter conditions with the snow reflecting the light everywhere. And I have to say the purple dial comes alive. It is easy to tell the time as the differentiation between the minutes and hours is so stark. And given the fact that my wrist is 6.5 inches, the 40mm case is just right on my wrist. I know that Venezianico has done 36mm smaller dress watches in that Redentore line. Perhaps they'll do the Enigma in a smaller variant in the future. I believe the dial is the main party piece of the Redentore Enigma. We have to talk about that purple sun ray dial. It radiates from light to dark to the outer edges. Complementing that is this gloss black chapter ring that catches the light beautifully, a contrast to the inner subdial that has the minutes. My only wish list is to have this watch with a dome sapphire crystal to complement these wonderful dial elements. I think that would bring the watch to life. It does have blue AR coating, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it is effective to cut down the glare. The other thing is that the use of an NH35 movement at this price point is a little bit disappointing to me. I'd hope for a Miyota 9039. On the macro level, the Venezianico Redentore Enigma does not disappoint. I think on every level, every facet, from that outer chapter ring, the inner chapter ring, or subdial I should say, the hands and the execution, flawless. Dial printing is sharp, and I love seeing the grain of that sunray dial. I do see a little bit of tool marks on the minute hand, and I think this is rather funny. The seconds hand, although omitted on this watch, is actually capped off. That center cap is rotating at a very slow pace. Turning the watch around, we're greeted by this beautiful artwork that is the Basilica del Redentore, which is located in Venice. And I think that when we take a closer look at the machine work on it, it's very sharp, detailed, defined, catches the light wonderfully. A very pleasant touch. Now the caseback does use screws. It's not a screw down caseback. I think that's a bit of a letdown. It's likely that you won't take this watch diving, so 50 meters of water resistance and a screw caseback isn't that bad. The edged crown with the Venezianico cross is a nice touch as well. And the crown guards, nicely shaped. They're kind of pointed, angular all at the same time, and they flow well with the rest of the case design. Again, that satinated brush finishing on the side of the case has been done to an extreme degree of care. What are some points of improvement or things I don't like about the watch? The use of the NH35 movement. I think a Miyota movement would be great. One could argue the lack of a seconds hand, it doesn't matter so much about what movement to use. However, at this price point, I would hope to at least see a Miyota 9000 series movement. At least for that price point of near 700 Canadian dollars, I think about 512 euro. The other side of this is that the inclusion of a screw down crown would elevate this watch to a sport watch category. And I think given that it's not a full-on dress watch, it has sportier elements. That case design, shaped off lugs, overall proportion and scale is more reminiscent of a sport watch to me. Now, I do enjoy my time with this watch, given that it is uniquely different than most of the dress watches I've experienced from micro brands. I welcome this as an entrant in that market. Now, if you like today's video, please leave a like, comment, and I will definitely catch you in the next video. Thank you.